Welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you're here. I have a very special next guest, and I don't normally start off with, accolades or things that they've done, but this gentleman, Richard Sills, has an amazing past, and I just want to share with you from the beginning who we're going to be speaking to. He was named Educator of the Decade in 1978. Mr. Sills has made a dozen appearances on the Joe Franklin TV show and became really good friends with Joe, as a matter of fact. And he even has a poem on display in the Ronald Reagan Library and Museum. This is going to be fun. Welcome, Richard. You wrote a book called Christmas Story, and I want you to share basically what is the overall message? What are you trying to relay in this book, The Christmas Story?
Trying to relay hope for a future. And the hope is that Santa Claus someday will appear for real.
Tell me more about that. Why do you feel like hope is an important message right now?
Well, I think in the seriousness of the situation we're in on the border and the economy and what's going on in Afghanistan, we need to be hopeful that somehow things will resolve.
So if Santa Claus was to come to your home down your chimney tonight, what would he be bringing, Richard Sills?
Love and hope for gifts.
Love and hope for gifts. I love that. We sure could use a lot more of that. When you talk about Santa and the Christmas story, in your story, is that what he's bringing, love and hope?
Well, my story is about the adults going on the sleigh with Santa and giving gifts to all the children.
What part of the book did you have the hardest time writing, Richard? Did you know from beginning to end how the story was going to go, or did it kind of write itself?
It wrote itself. It was a takeoff, retelling of The Night Before Christmas by Clement C. Moore.
Oh, that was your inspiration?
Yes. Let me read a little bit from the book. On the night before Christmas, there was not a sound, nothing moving or stirring, no noise all around. The candles were lit by the bedside for light, and only the reindeer flew through the night. 4 a.m, there was such a clatter. They jumped out of my bed to see what was the matter. There in his robes of red and of white, I saw a fat old jolly elf who laughed with delight. Ho, 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 he laughed. I'll give him a glowing yo-yo. And he laughed and he laughed. And it was then that I knew it must be St. Nicholas. He was long overdue. St. Nicholas, I asked, are you real? And he laughed and he laughed. His warmth I could feel. Yes, my friend, he said. I'm as real as a reindeer is on a sled. And to prove I'm real too, I'll treat you for a ride. Through the night stars, we will glide.
That is beautiful, Richard. I mean, and the cover of the book is very beautifully illustrated. It's almost something that you could have on a coffee table around the holidays, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it should be put underneath the Christmas tree.
I agree.
The adults later on, as we talk. But here's a little excerpt from the book. We climbed on the sled, and up we went, as you said. Merry Christmas to all on this joyous night. As we flew through the stars, it was quite a sight. The first place we came upon was a little house as small as a fawn. Now from his bag, Santa pulled out a rag. It was red, and he rubbed it in his hands as he said, "It is a miracle. It is made of love, and it brings to its holder a gentle white dove. Carefully slipped it in the chimney and became as small as a doll. And down he did fall. When he came out again, he wiggled, jiggled, and laughed with a grin. Roger the seagull will be in the wind." Then, like a toy balloon, he blew up once again to his fat old jolly self. Such a man I felt, full of wealth. His smile was as rich as an earl's, and his teeth shone like pearls. His hair flowed like silk, and his clothes were adorned with ornaments and jewels which were well worn. When he laughed, he seemed to enjoy the simple laughter of a child with a toy. Was he old or was he young? This is a mystery I must think upon. For though it is written that he was long ago, I never saw him once, and that I did know. But here in my age now I see him sitting right next to me. It gives me a thought, it gives me a doubt as to what this whole world is really about. For here beside me, I would like to sit on his knee and ask him for a present just for me.
Wow. That is so sweet and meaningful. And there's a lot of emotion behind that. How long did it take you to write it?
Maybe an hour.
No
Went very
kidding.
fast.
Wow. Wow. You are talented. But I mean, your history shows that you are a powerful writer. I mean, you have a poem, as we mentioned at the beginning, in the Ronald Reagan Library and Museum. So
I
writing is,
sponsored the Reagan hologram, which is incredible,
wow.
and
Tell
the
me more about
Presidential
that.
Learning Center, founding sponsor of both.
Wow. That is amazing. I mean, reaching children with important messages has been a part of your whole life, it sounds like.
I taught in Ocean Hill, Brownsville. That's a part of Brooklyn in New York City. I used children as teachers, which Newsweek Films today the piece about it. It's an incredible way to teach children.
By having them teach.
Having children teach each other.
Yes. That is
Older children teaching younger children.
wow. What prompted you to think about doing that?
I believe I saw it. I think his name was Rodney McCoy. He was the superintendent of or he was a district. I'm not sure what his position was, but he was running the Ocean Brownsville, and they were being experimental at the time. He used Cuisinart rods, and those are different color rods of different sizes, which represent the algebra of the mathematics.
Very interesting. I mean, how many times have you heard that you learn so much better when you teach something?
Yeah, it's an amazing system.
So I want to jump back to the book and talk about the characters and the parents. You had said you would delve into that just a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll read from the book. Santa has just taken them for a ride on the sleigh, and he comes back, and he's next to his wife, and he says, "I was in bed, so cold when I said, 'Let's see what Santa's brought us for Christmas, dear. Wake up, it's Christmas.' And as she turned round for a kiss, I was still yawning, and she missed. 'You're freezing,' she screamed. 'What have you been doing, my dream?' 'I've been with Santa tonight, with him on his dark, merry flight.' She shook her head and went back to bed. 'But wake up.' I made my hands like a cup. 'Up.' The snow on my head dripped from my hands, which were red. This time she got up all right, the snow so white, with cold water and snow dripping down from her. And then finally she rose and put on her beautiful clothes. It was wonderful to see her as slim as could be, and I said to myself, 'Oh, what a beauty, just for me.' We went down the stairs. Lo and behold, our children were there, talking and laughing and waiting so fair, just for us to appear. I said, 'Oh, you dears, I bet you knew all along Santa was here. But I didn't, you know. Yet now I know he's real as the snow. On that cold winter night, I know Santa's in flight.' Then I went to the tree and looked for a present. for me, but there's nothing there for me. Nothing but the tree, and nothing but the stockings that hung from the chimney. There was nothing there, for me. And needless to say, I felt quite blue. Well, the children laughed and played too. Then my wife came to me and said, and sat upon my lap, "A child will be my gift to you, so please don't be blue. I give you life and love too." "Oh, thank you, Santa," I said, and faintly I swear I could hear him laughing, and his tiny elves and reindeer. "Oh, thank you, with a Merry Christmas, a Merry, Merry Christmas this year."
Richard, that's beautiful. You know what I really love about that is the insight, the passion that Santa has for Mrs. Claus. We never really see an emotional connection between the two of them, but you can see that he looks at her with such love.
Yes, well, love is the greatest thing. It's in the Bible. It says God is love. 1 James 4:16, I think. I'm not sure.
It's the most important thing. Yes. So, are you planning a sequel?
No, that's my one thing. I don't know. Maybe they'll believe it, but I don't know.
Okay. And so as I know that you said that the book kind of wrote itself, but how did things change from the first draft to the final?
I said in the original, I said his clothes were adorned. I changed that if I sell the book, to his robes were well worn, from clothes to robes.
Ah, very interesting. And then you had a second thought about that.
Well, I didn't like the clothes. It didn't resonate with me as Santa.
Ah, I gotcha.
Robes. He wears robes, not
Yes.
clothes.
Not clothes, sure. How did you come up with the title for your book?
Well, I came up with the title "Christmas Stories," the title of a number of books, but I think the best way to address it in a new book, if I can sell it, and I'm trying to sell it in Germany, in Frankfurt. I'd like Disney to pick it up if they're interested.
And then if you could meet your characters, what would you want to say to them?
I'm glad that you're real, Santa Claus.
Aw. That's a great message. And Richard, I'm going to wrap up with a final question. What do you want people to feel or think about after they've read this book?
The question of what reality is all about.
What's important?
It's important to believe. Whether you believe in God or not, it's important to believe.
Well, Richard, I can't thank you enough. What a beautiful book. And for people who are listening to this radio show, where can they get a hold of your book?
It's online in Amazon, I believe.
Richard, thank you so much for your time and for your beautiful book. And we hope that the sales go crazy for the holidays, and have a great day.
Thank you so much for the interview.